Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for another round of Premier League predictions. We're up to game week 16 now and we've got all 10 games to predict. But before we do jump into the predictions, I just need to go back and give a shout out to those people that gave their predictions for game week 15 down in the comments of the last video. If you do want to jump straight to the predictions, then shame on you, but you can do that by looking at the timestamps down on the bar at the bottom or by just looking on the screen there and going to that point of the video. But without further ado, let's see how everyone did for game week 15, and let me tell you, there were some great scores. Not such a great score to start though, and bringing up the rear is Robert Allen with only 4 points. The scores were very much too conventional for him to do a good job last week, but Paul Ridgely is next in line with 5 points. Well done, Paul. A correct score for Tottenham versus Norwich City. Patrick Silk is next. He also gave the Bayern score as well versus Dortmund, but that doesn't count because that game was match fixed, as we all know. Jude Bellingham knows it, but Patrick got 8 points. And you can tell it's going to be a good week if the guy who comes third to last got 8 points. But Patrick got a correct score for Aston Villa versus Leicester. That was a common theme throughout these predictions. Manny Stapper is next with 8 points as well. And again, a correct score, but not for the Villa game. He got it for Southampton versus Brighton. Josh Koska is next with 10 points. 2 correct scores for Josh. Very well done indeed. Got a correct score for Watford, Man City and Aston Villa, Leicester. Roberto the Hornet, our fantastic Watford fan, didn't back his Watford side, but he did back City to beat them by 3-1. Shame on you, showing weakness to get yourself points in the predictions game. But he did also get Aston Villa beating Leicester. Surprise, surprise, most people did. 10 points for Roberto the Hornet. Shane O'Donnell pipped them with 11. A correct score for Aston Villa, Leicester and Southampton, Brighton. 11 points for Shane. But we come up to the cream of the crop now, and the defending champion. And what a great job he did of defending his crown. Suhail Zubair, 15 points. And he lost. And he didn't win, sorry. There's no losers here, apart from those ones that didn't win. Suhail, 15 points as I already said. 4 correct scores. Spurs, Norwich. Southampton, Brighton. Leeds, Brentford. Newcastle, Burnley. Unbelievable effort. But you were beaten by... I do not understand how this person is not a lottery winner, how he's not literally made millions out of winning lotteries and sports betting around the world. Because a Judy with an astonishing 21 points. Pick that one out, folks. He smashed all Very Biased Opinions records. Let's run through the correct... It'll be easy to say what he didn't get a correct score for. But correct score for Wolves, Liverpool, Everton, Arsenal, Tottenham, Norwich, Aston Villa, Leicester, Southampton versus Brighton, and Newcastle versus Burnley. Take a bow at Judy. Everybody should be up there applauding. That is astonishing work. 21 points. Let's see if you get anywhere near that next week, or anyone gets anywhere near that score. That is a new benchmark, folks. But please do all come back and play next week. And if you do want to play next week's game, just leave your predictions down in the comments. We give you 1 point for a correct result and 3 points for a correct score. And we'll give you a shout out next week. And who knows, you may be the champion. That is basically all of the hot dogging and grandstanding out of the way. It just leaves me to say hit like, hit subscribe, and please hit that notify bell because so many people do not get notified for my videos. That's a common gripe. I think all YouTubers think YouTube is against them. But let's dive into this. It's game week 16 and we start with Norwich City versus Manchester United. I'm going to give predictions right off the bat this week. I think Manchester United will win this game by 3-0. You're going to see a resurgent Man U. You saw the blueprint of what Rangnick wants to do with that 4-2-2-2 kind of different style of pressing, and I think now with a week to kind of work on it. I know they got Champions League as well. I think they'll have that quite nicely organised to play a Norwich side who just quite frankly aren't that good and aren't going to be good enough to cope. And I see a quite nice, easy win. As I said, 3-0 Man United. Manchester City versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Well, I said Wolves would cause Liverpool some problems and it would be a stubborn game. And I see this one being a similar pattern here. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Man City win, but I don't think it's going to be an easy one. Again, if Man City do score early, you could see it being a blowout, but not many sides do that to Wolves, and I think this one will be tight. I'm just going to see, but City is so good, they'll find a way. 2-0 Man City. Liverpool versus Aston Villa. Stevie G comes back to Anfield. Can he cause a massive upset? No is the answer to that question. I just don't see it. I think they'll put in a good effort. They'll put in a good performance. But this Villa side does need to have a bit of a kick up the arse. Every game seems to be a slow build-up. And then Gerrard has to kind of like remind them that they're footballers. And then they come out and play in the second half. I'm going to go for a 3-1 Liverpool win. They're just unstoppable at the moment. Really, I mean, if you look at, they should have beat Wolves more comfortably than they did. How Jota's missed that chance, I'll never know. But whenever there's in doubt, there is always Origi to come and rescue Liverpool. And amazing that he scored more goals than Harry Kane this season. Yikes. So 3-1 Liverpool. Chelsea versus Leeds United. Rough week for the Blues. Lost their top spot to Manchester City after that defeat to West Ham. I do see them bouncing back here though. I am going to go for a 2-0 Chelsea win. I just think that I don't really know how they lost that game to West Ham. I think they'll be kicking themselves. Absolutely they will be. But I just think that after a bit of regrouping, Champions League, they've already qualified, so they don't need to go gangbusters in that. They can come up against the Leeds side that are struggling and continue to pick up injuries. Seems to be one player comes back, two more go out injured. And it's a real problem for Bielsa. But they did get Bamford back, which is going to be good in the long run for them, but not going to be good enough to affect this game. I'm going to go for a Chelsea 2-0 win. Arsenal versus Southampton. Why do I keep backing Arsenal to win? They keep letting me down. But all you can do is keep doing it. 2-0 Arsenal win over the Saints. Probably never going to happen in a million years. Arteta had 2 games against Man United and Everton where they were seemingly in control of and came away with no points. They go into game management mode far too early. Just go on and win the bloody game. Get 2, get 3, get 4. That's why you have a minus goal difference, because you don't kill teams off. And it's incredibly frustrating because they create the chances. But they've been pretty good against the sides lower down the league, barring that Everton result that literally just happened a few minutes ago. So I think they will beat this Saints side, who really should have beat Brighton last time out. And but you know that's the breaks of the Premier League. 2-0 Arsenal. Brighton and Hove Albion versus Spurs. Well, you know what I'm going to do. You know what I'm going to do before I'm going to say it. 3-2-1. Let's all say it together. 1-1 draw. You have to. I have to keep backing these 1-1 draws. They've been very profitable for me with Brighton. Malpay just snatching equalisers in the last minute. 2 in the last week. Amazing situation against Southampton, really, where he looked like, again, he couldn't hit a barn door until injury time. Spurs looked great against Norwich, but most sides do. It was a very easy win, and they're looking better. But Brighton are the draw kings, and let's not rule out, and let's just say it again. If they had a striker, they would be 4th place in this league. They're a good side. They just can't score goals. 1-1 draw. Brentford versus Watford. Well, this kicks off the weekend on Friday night. And what a game! What a game to kick off the weekend. Oh, God, I think I might give it a miss. But Brentford they should have beat Leeds. Leeds needed a last-minute equaliser, but the performance was good. And Frank will keep saying performances are good, and they are doing all right in the Premier League. You know, to be where they are, they'd have absolutely snapped your hand off. They need to keep going on with that. Watford, you do not know what you're going to get. Roberto the Hornet, you do not know what you're going to get in these games. I think Brentford might win this one. I think their home form is important. I think there'll be a big crowd there, a bit of a, London derby-ish. And I think that Brentford will put in a good performance here. But I forgot to say, how can I forget to say this? Great to see Shandon Baptiste scoring a goal. Get in there, Shandon. Good old Oxford route. Surely Oxford get 1 million a goal. They must get something for producing a player that scores in the Premier League. And let's say Shandon carries on that good work. It's Brentford 2, Watford 1. Crystal Palace versus Everton. Well, this one's just thrown a spanner in the works for me, folks. I was going to go for a Palace win all day long until Everton had that comeback against Arsenal. It really raised the spirits. It was really needed. Everton, Goodison Park was like on the floor, and they really needed that comeback win to lift the spirits around the place. And Palace just seem like Palace under Hodgson a bit now. They've gone back into their shell a little bit. Vieira needs to kind of grip them up and shake them up and remind them of how they were enjoying their football at the start of the season. Seems like that bit of enjoyment's kind of slipped away. And I think this one could be a bit of a damp squib. There's the word. I don't do this often, but I'm going to go 0-0. Leicester City versus Newcastle United. Hallelujah! Newcastle get a win in the Premier League. Well done to Eddie Howe and the Newcastle players, and great that they took a selfie as if they'd won the league at the end of the game in the changing room. But long way to go for them. They are coming up against the Leicester side who are good at one area of the pitch and pretty dreadful at the other end. And I know, again, we talk about the players being out, but they look great going forward. Maddison back in form. Daka up front as well, looking good. I know he's not scored the goals that he scored in the Europa League, but he looks an exciting prospect. I'm sure Vardy will come in and start in this game as well. They do miss Tielemans in the middle, and obviously there's a whole host of players they miss at the back. And again, Soyuncu's form has just gone off a cliff. Defending set pieces has been dreadful, and Newcastle have a chance. They have a chance in this one. I don't see it. I just can't see it. Leicester win for me. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Leicester win. And finally, it is Burnley versus West Ham United. Probably shouldn't be last. Well done, West Ham. What a win over Chelsea. I mean, you've got that London Stadium rocking now. It's like a new Upton Park, what it was supposed to be all those years ago. But always a tough game when you go and play Burnley, but Burnley are really struggling now. I think they've lost Cornet as well. I like that guy. He adds a lot to that Burnley side going forward, and I think without him it's going to be a bit of a slog. And I think this West Ham side, despite having Europa League in the win, should be good enough to go up there and get something from this game, because Burnley are really in a bit of trouble now. I think it's going to be Burnley 0, West Ham United 2. And who knows, maybe that they can still get that Champions League place. They won't. Okay, everybody, that will do it for another round of Premier League predictions. I hope that you did enjoy it. Please play along at home and leave your predictions down in the comments, and I will give you a shout out at the start of next week's video. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you could share the video, that would be awesome. If you can hit the notify bell, that would be great as well. So you actually do receive a notification, because so many people don't. But that is it for me. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.